The Lost Valentine. Emma's fingers danced over the card, tracing the edges of the paper hearts she'd glued down with meticulous care. Each sprinkle of glitter sparkled under her bedroom lamp, a constellation of shimmering stars that mirrored the excitement in her blue eyes. She pressed a final heart into place, smiling at the way it completed the pattern. With a flourish, she dotted the last I in her poem, a tribute to a friendship that bloomed like the springtime flowers they both loved. Emma held the Valentine's card at arm's length, pride swelling in her chest. It was more than paper and glue. It was a piece of her heart, ready to be shared with Lily. She slid the masterpiece into her backpack, nestled between a book and a pencil case, confident in its safety until tomorrow's reveal. Her eyelids grew heavy with dreams of Lily's smile, and she surrendered to sleep, her heart-shaped necklace glinting in the moonlight. The chirp of morning birds heralded a new day. Emma's eyes fluttered open, greeted by a sunbeam that kissed her cheeks like a warm hello. She sprang from bed with vigor reserved for special occasions. Today was no ordinary day. It was Valentine's Day. She dressed in haste, pulling on her favorite pink dress that swirled around her knees. The heart-shaped necklace lay on her dresser, catching the morning light. Emma fastened it around her neck, its familiar weight a silent vow of friendship. Backpack slung over one shoulder, she bounded out the door. Her long brown hair streamed behind her, like a banner of excitement as she raced toward school and toward Lily. Emma skipped along the sidewalk, her backpack bouncing behind her. A tune hummed from her lips, light as the crisp morning air. She turned corners and crossed streets, lost in dreams of Lily's smile when she'd received the Valentine. A playful breeze picked up, dancing through the trees and spiraling leaves in its wake. It swept behind Emma, tugging at the zipper of her backpack like the fingers of a mischievous sprite. With a swift pull, it coaxed the precious card from its haven, sending it fluttering on an unintended journey. Oblivious to the card's escape, Emma reached the school's bustling entrance. She wove through a sea of students, laughter and chatter echoing off gray walls. Once inside, she made her way to her locker, eager hands diving into her backpack. Her fingers searched, desperate for the familiar feel of paper and glitter. But as she rummaged deeper, her heart sank. The card was gone. Panic swelled in Emma's chest as she overturned books and pencils, but no Valentine appeared. Crestfallen, she bit her lip to hold back tears. Mrs. Bloom noticed Emma's distress from across the room. Her approach was gentle. A soft hand rested on Emma's shoulder. "What's wrong, dear?" Emma looked up into Mrs. Bloom's kind brown eyes. "My Valentine for Lily, it's gone," she stammered, voice quivering with each word. Mrs. Bloom crouched beside her, glasses glinting with compassion. "Let's not lose hope yet," she said with a reassuring smile. Emma sniffled and nodded. "Why don't you take a little walk around? Retrace your steps, it might just turn up." "But what if I don't find it?" Emma's voice cracked as she pictured Lily's empty hands. "Valentine's Day isn't just about cards or gifts," Mrs. Bloom said warmly. "It's about showing how much we care for each other." Emma considered this for a moment before wiping away a tear and offering a small smile. "I'll go look for it," she decided with newfound determination. "Thank you, Mrs. Bloom." Emma, clutching the straps of her backpack with determined fingers, set out from the school. The scent of fresh pastries guided her to the bakery, a place she often found comfort. Pushing open the door, the familiar chime announced her arrival. Mr. Jasper, his apron dusted with flour, looked up from his work and beamed at her. "Lost something on your adventure, Emma?" Mr. Jasper leaned on the counter, his eyes twinkling. Emma's gaze darted around the bakery before settling on Mr. Jasper's warm expression. "Have you seen a Valentine's card around here? It's really special." Mr. Jasper shook his head, his red hair catching the light of the bakery. "Haven't seen any stray cards, but I have something to sweeten your day." He reached for a plate and presented Emma with a heart-shaped cookie, its chocolate chips glistening like little treasures. Emma's eyes lit up at the sight. "For me? All yours," Mr. Jasper confirmed with a grand gesture. She accepted the cookie, feeling its warmth against her palm. Mr. Jasper leaned closer, a mischievous glint in his eye. "Want to hear a joke? Why did the baker break up with the Valentine?" Emma tilted her head, curiosity replacing her worry for a moment. "Because he found someone sweeter." Mr. Jasper burst into laughter at his own joke. A giggle escaped Emma's lips as she took a bite of the cookie. It melted in her mouth, its sweetness hugging her from inside out. "Thanks, Mr. Jasper." Her words came out muffled by the delicious treat. With the heart-shaped cookie as her companion, Emma stepped back onto the street. Her spirit lifted just enough to face the challenge ahead, with a smile still playing on her lips. The bell above the bakery door jingled a farewell as Emma stepped out, cookie in hand, her heart still heavy from the loss of her Valentine's card. She adjusted her pink dress and made her way to the library, where the smell of books and the quiet hush of pages turning always brought her comfort. The library's glass doors swung open with a gentle push, revealing Mrs. Willow behind the circulation desk, her long gray hair cascading over a blue sweater. The librarian looked up from a towering stack of books, her hazel eyes meeting Emma's blue ones. "Good afternoon, Emma," Mrs. Willow greeted with a soft smile. "Looking for a new adventure today?" Emma approached, clutching the cookie like a lifeline. "Actually, I'm on a real-life quest right now. Have you seen a Valentine's card? I lost mine, and it's really important." Mrs. Willow leaned forward, concern knitting her brows. "I'm afraid not, dear, but why don't we create something that might help? How about some Lost Valentine posters?" Hope flickered in Emma's eyes as she nodded eagerly. They settled at one of the large tables scattered with art supplies. Mrs. Willow demonstrated how to cut and glue paper with precision while Emma followed suit, crafting posters with colorful messages and a drawing of her lost card. As they worked, Mrs. Willow shared tales of Valentine's Day, from its ancient Roman roots to the handwritten notes of Victorian times. Emma listened intently, her mind absorbing the stories like a sponge. "Did you know that in some countries, Valentine's Day is also a time to show appreciation for friends?" Mrs. Willow asked as she helped straighten a poster. Emma's eyes lit up. "Like me and Lily." "Exactly," Mrs. Willow affirmed with a nod. Thanking Mrs. Willow for both the help and the history lesson, Emma gathered the posters under one arm. The librarian's kindness had reignited her hope, and with each step out of the library, she felt more determined to continue her search for the lost Valentine.